suffering. There is no job in the country. And these people are dividing us because of their political interest, because of their greediness.
On August 1, 2024, thousands of Nigerians nationwide took to the streets to protest under the banner of #End Bad Governance in Nigeria. Young Nigerians frustrated by the economic hardship under President Bola Tinubu's administration spearheaded the demonstration. Despite government warnings against the protest, Nigerians demanded better governance. However, notable by their absence were the Igbos in the southeast, who refrained from joining the nationwide protest. Several reasons explain the decision amidst the ongoing socio-political dynamics and perceived hatred towards the Igbos. The first reason for the Igbos' refusal to protest: 1. Historical trauma and fear of reprisals. The Igbos have a long history of political marginalization and violent reprisals dating back to the Nigerian Civil War 1967 to 1970. This historical trauma has made many Igbos cautious about participating in protests that could potentially lead to violent crackdowns by security forces. The fear of another devastating conflict or targeted violence influences their decision to avoid large-scale protests. Number 2. Targeted attacks and perceived hatred. Recent threats and inflammatory rhetoric such as calls for the forced relocation of Igbos from Lagos and other southwest states have heightened feelings of insecurity among the Igbos. The perception of being unwelcome or targeted in other parts of Nigeria discourages them from participating in protests that might expose them to further hostility or violence. Number 3. Strategic restraint and caution. The Igbos may adopt a strategy of restraint, choosing to express their grievances through other means rather than street protests. This cautious approach aims to avoid provoking actions that could escalate into violence or lead to significant economic losses, particularly for a region heavily involved in commerce and trade. Focus on economic stability. The Southeast region is known for its entrepreneurial spirit and business activities. Engaging in protests that could disrupt economic activities and lead to instability might not align with the community's priorities. Many Igbos might prioritize maintaining economic stability over participating in protests that could result in business losses or economic disruption. Distrust in government's response. There is a deep-seated distrust in the government's willingness to address the concerns raised by protesters. Past experiences where protests did not yield significant positive outcomes or led to violent crackdowns have created skepticism about the effectiveness of such demonstrations. This distrust makes many Igbos reluctant to join the nationwide protests. Internal political dynamics. The political leadership in the Southeast might adopt a different approach to addressing grievances. Local leaders and influencers could be encouraging their constituents to avoid protest, opting for dialogue and other forms of engagement with the government to address their issues. Security concerns and intimidation. The presence of heavy security deployment in protest hotspots across the country, including potential threats of arrest, tear gas, and violence, can be a strong deterrent. The Igbos, mindful of the risk involved, chose to avoid confrontation with security forces that could result in casualties or mass arrests. Regional solidarity and community cohesion. Maintaining community cohesion and regional solidarity can be a factor as well. The Igbos might prioritize solidarity within their region, focusing on community support and development rather than joining broader national protests that could fracture internal unity. It will be recalled that the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, in person of Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu, had warned Igbos to steer clear of the nationwide protest, saying the Igbos may lose their life and they may be targeted in series of attacks. This warning, in a video which has gone viral, stands as a message that could have deterred the Igbos from joining the hashtag End Bad Governance in Nigeria protest. In conclusion, the Igbo's decision to abstain from the End Bad Governance in Nigeria protest is multifaceted, rooted in historical experiences, strategic caution, and a focus on economic stability. While the nationwide protests highlight widespread dissatisfaction with the current administration of President Bola Tinubu, the Igbos in the southeast have chosen a path of restraint, reflecting their unique socio-political circumstances and priorities.